Chapter number 59 in Establishing the Faith book is entitled Fine-Tuning of the Universe Proves the Existence of God and Refutes Evolution. Bible reading is Psalm 19, 1-14. Verse 1 says, "The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows his handiwork." There's a good YouTube video called Fine-Tuning of the Universe, Reasonable Faith. "The Lord by wisdom has founded the earth, by understanding has he established the heavens." Proverbs 3:19. First heading we see is uniqueness of the galaxy, sun, earth, moon system for life support. First, fine-tuning of the universe from the galaxy, sun, earth, moon system is number one, the sun's distance from the galaxy center is exactly right. If the sun was closer to the galaxy center, radiation would be too intense for life. If the sun was further away from the galaxy center, there would be less heavy elements created. So Earth and the sun is the right distance. Number two, the sun's mass. If the sun's mass was greater, the sun would be too bright and too erratic for life. If the sun's mass was less, it would be too narrow life support zone and less photosynthesis. Number three, the sun's colour is exactly right. If it was redder or bluer, photosynthetic response would be insufficient to sustain life. Number four, the surface gravity on the Earth, if it was greater, there'd be too much methane and ammonia in the atmosphere for life, and if gravity was less, the water would escape. Number five is the distance of the Earth is the right distance from the Sun. If the Earth was closer to the Sun, the planet Earth would be too hot for stable water cycle. If Earth was further away from the Sun, the planet would be too cold. So Earth is the right distance from the Sun. Number six, orbital eccentricity. If the eccentricity was greater, that means that the Earth would move closer and then further from the Sun over a year. If it was greater eccentricity, the seasonal temperature range would be too extreme for life. You'd have very hot summer and freezing cold winters, which would be not good for life. Number seven, rotation period of the Earth. The Earth is rotating every 24 hours. If it took longer to rotate, the temperature would be much hotter. If it was colder, slower rotating, the temperature would be colder and nights would be longer. So the temperature differences would be too great for life. If shorter, wind speeds would be too great for life. So if it was spinning really quickly, there'd be too much wind speed for life. And number eight, the amount of water vapor in the atmosphere is exactly correct. If there was less water vapor, not enough rainfall would occur for advanced life, and if there was more water vapor, there'd be too much rain. Number nine, there is the right amount of ozone in the atmosphere. If there was more ozone, temperature and ultraviolet radiation would be too low for life because it would be UV radiation would be filtered out. But if the ozone was less, the temperature and the ultraviolet radiation would be too high and too dangerous for life. Number 10, the oxygen quantity in the atmosphere is exactly correct, which is about 20%. If oxygen was greater, plants would burn too quickly because there'd be fires all over the Earth. If there was less oxygen, animals would not be able to breathe. Number 11 is that volcanic activity is exactly right. If there was more volcanic activity, advanced life would get destroyed with the lava flow. If there's less volcanic activity, there would not be enough carbon dioxide and not enough soil minerals, because CO2 comes from volcanic eruptions. And number 12, soil mineral nutrients are exactly right. If there were less mineral nutrients in the soil or more, that would limit complex life forms, because we need plants to eat which provide the right nutrients. Number 13, the moon's gravity attraction. If the moon was larger and have a greater attraction, there would be severe tides on the Earth. If the moon was smaller, there'd be less gravitational attraction and it would be an unstable climate on the Earth. So the moon is the right size, right distance, and the right number of moons, which is 1. Number 14, Jupiter's distance and mass is exactly correct. If the Jupiter was closer to the Earth, its gravity would destabilize the Earth's orbit. If the Jupiter's mass distance was further, there'd be more asteroids hitting the Earth because Jupiter acts as a magnet for asteroids to take them away from hitting the Earth. Number 15, the atmospheric pressure is exactly right. If it was greater atmospheric pressure, there would not be enough water evaporation, not enough sunlight or ultraviolet radiation for life. Number 16, iron in the oceans and soils is right. If it was greater, advanced life would be destroyed. If it was much less iron, no life would be possible because we need iron in our blood. Number 17, the right amount of sulfur in the soils. If it was greater sulfur in soil, plants would be destroyed by sulfur toxins and soil acidity like sulfuric acid. And if it was less, there would not be enough plant protein and that would be deficient. So all of these are very, very important. Let's look at the second heading now. Fine-tune the constants that are exactly life-permitting. Evolution had nothing to do with this. The physical constants have all been finely tuned to a degree not possible by accident in order for life to be maintained. What is the probability of this? For example, number 1, gravity. If gravity was higher or lower by 1 part in 10 to the power of 60, the universe would expand or collapse too rapidly, so no stars or planets would exist. Number 2, if the cosmological constant was out by 1 part in 10 to the power of 120, the universe would have expanded too fast or contracted too much. Number 3, strong nuclear force. If nuclear force was larger, no hydrogen would form. If it was smaller, no elements heavier than hydrogen would form. Number 4, the weak nuclear force. If it was greater, you'd have too much hydrogen converting to helium in Big Bang. And also if it was less nuclear force, there'd be too little helium. So the nuclear force is exactly right. Number 5, gravitational force. If it was more, stars would burn too fast for life. If less, stars would be too cool for nuclear fusion and formation of elements. Number 6, electromagnetic force. If it was less, chemical bonding would be too low for life chemistry. If more, you would have more carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine would be unstable. Number 7, the ratio of electron mass to proton mass is correct. If it was larger or smaller, chemical bonding would be insufficient for life chemistry. Number 8, water molecule polarity. If it was higher or lower, ice would not float, and water could not be a solvent for life. And number 9, neutrino mass. If it was less, the galaxies and stars could not form. If it was greater, galaxies would be too dense for life.